Hello, my name is Mike Lee and I'm on the 8th grade of Kyowa Middle School. Today, I'm going to introduce the Lord of the Flies. Maybe there is a beast. Maybe it's only us. This is the famous quote from The Lord of the Flies, written by a British author, William Golding. Lord of the Flies is a book providing criticism and insight about human instinct, with the background of young kids who are relatively pure compared to grown-ups, and they get shipwrecked on the isolated island in the middle of Pacific Ocean. Before I read this book, I thought it would be such a nice opportunity for me to think about human instinct. First, I'm going to introduce about the author of this book, background, summary, characters, analysis, and conclusion. First, I'm going to introduce the author of this book, William Golding. He was born in September 19, 1911 and died in June 19, 1993. He is the author of Lord of the Flies, The Inheritors, The Spires, etc. The reason why he wrote this book is that while he was working as a teacher, the World War II broke out and he was enlisted in the Royal Navy, and he started to think about human nature deeply during the war. Therefore, this had become a motivation of him writing the book, which mainly deals with conflict occurred related to human instincts. Second, I'm going to talk about the backgrounds of the book. The boys got shipwrecked on the island in the Pacific Ocean because they were on an airplane to escape the World War II. However, an unknown missile attacked the plane and it was crashed. Therefore, the boys were completely isolated on the island on their own. Third, let me talk about the summary of the book. When the main character Ralph woke up, he saw Piggy was standing in front of him. Even if it was not his real name, Piggy said it doesn't matter if he was called with that name, unless he was called Fatty. While they were talking, Ralph found a big shell in the shore. Piggy told him to blow on it so that they can find other boys. After he blew out a conch, other boys started to gather in the place where Ralph and Piggy was standing on. The other boys decided to elect Ralph as a chief just because he had a conch. Jack, who was the biggest boy among the members of a collier, also wanted to be a leader, but Ralph gave him a title of a hunter. After the meeting, boys decided to make a fire with Piggy's glasses so that it could be a signal of SOS. Ralph, Jack, and Simon went to take a walk in the forest. However, they found a wild pig and Jack suddenly tries to chase him, claiming that he is a hunter. But the pig ran away, and this had become a main cause of Jack being more and more obsessed with hunting later on. When he came back from the walk, he and his friend Roger started to bully other little boys called Little Ones by throwing small rocks or destroying their sandcastle. This means that Jack is becoming more and more savage. Later on, Jack had become extremely obsessed with hunting ever since he missed the pig. That's how he made a big mistake to miss the ship traveling nearby. Meanwhile, the boys complained that they had nightmares about seeing an unknown beast on the mountain, and Ralph decided to search the mountain with Jack and Roger. Ralph and his group, who had been climbing to the top of the mountain, saw the shadow of a beast and were terrified and hurried back to the group. After returning to the group, Jack blew a conch to gather the boys and suggested that Ralph was a coward in the mountain. But the boys did not respond. Therefore, Jack got angry and left Ralph's group with his hunters. After he left, he and his hunters finally caught the pig. They decided to have a feast, and they made Ralph's hungry group members to join Jack's group. While Ralph and his members were depressed, Jack also invites them to his party, and Ralph accepts. While all other kids were having fun, Simon was traveling the forest alone to reveal what the beast was. When he got to the cave, he was astonished. There was a dead pursuit lying on a tree in strange posture, like an animal or something. Simon found out that what they were afraid of nothing. Unfortunately, when Simon got excited and went down to the mountain to tell other kids about the truth, crazy savage boys thought he was the beast and killed him. After that, Ralph's crew immediately left the place, eventually staying in a hut built on the beach. waiting for a rescue call with the fire. Meanwhile, when Jack's group sees the fire go out, they remember that the other boys had started the fire with Piggy's glasses and raided Ralph's party in the middle of night and stole Piggy's glasses. Ralph and the other boys were angry about this, and they decided to confront Jack. However, Jack took the twins, Sam and Eric, as a hostage to join the group. Ralph rushed to Jack and had a fight. Ralph Roger was on the cliff, pushed a rock down to kill him. Ralph could avoid it, but Piggy, who was almost blind because he had lost his glasses, was hit by a rock and died instantly, and his body fell off from a cliff. After that, Ralph, who was left alone, is chased by Jack and his hunters, who set fire to the island to catch him efficiently. Ironically, however, the Navy, who saw a huge fire that engulfed the island, landed on the island to see what was going on, and Ralph met the officer at the same time. When Ralph sees grown-ups, he wept and the officer asked where the other boys are, but since there were savage children chasing Ralph, thinking that they were simply playing war. The story ends with the other boys crying when they meet the Navy officer. Fourth, I'm going to introduce the characters of the book. Ralph is a leader of the island, and he is the protagonist and the chief. He symbolizes civilization. Jack, he is the antagonist. He struggles to gain power and symbolize anarchy. Piggy, who is smart, but other boys bully him. Thus, he symbolizes reason and knowledge. Simon, he is the boy who loves nature. He represents human connection with nature and spiritual aspect of human. Roger is cruel. He represents cruelty. Sam and Eric are identical twins. They represent the public and individualism. Little ones, this is a title given to the littlest boy on the island. They are unhelpful, scared, needy, and thus they symbolize children as well as dependents. Fifth, this part is about the analysis of the book. The first conflict that has started to appear was at the beginning of the island life. Jack and Ralph went on walking to find the pig and found a pig. Jack tried to catch him, but he failed. He started to be obsessed with hunting and forgot to make fire, which made him miss the ship sailing nearby. I believe the reason for Ralph's obsession with the fire is a similar concept with religion. People tend to rely on religion when they are having a hard time, same as Ralph. I think Ralph already knew that they cannot be rescued, but has a last hope, fire. Last, let me talk about whether seminary still has a civilized aspect. To answer your question, yes. Even if they join Jack's group, they still show a civilized aspect to Ralph, like helping him to run away or giving him some meat. Lastly, I'm going to talk about the assumption of next story and what I have learned from the book. I think the boys who were in savage place like Jack and Roger is going to be a criminal or commit a suicide because of a traumatic experience on the island. Unlike them, I think boys like Ralph and Seminary are going to be adapted to society eventually with their good personalities. What I have learned from the book is the human nature. This book portrayed it very well how the kids would react when they face a big problem like shipwreck. I also believe using children to represent the human nature is more effective than using the adults because they can't hide their natural instinct well. Thanks for listening to my presentation.